Hey everybody, welcome to the Brownells SHOT Show 2019 coverage. We're hanging out in the Brownells booth. Thanks for tuning in all week. We really appreciate you checking out what's new from the show. This is our last one, so but it's probably one of the better ones, I promise you. Joined here by John Tig Tigan, of course, General American Badass, and also proprietor of the Beyond the Battlefield Foundation. Also with my good friend Tim Burke with the Tactical Games. Tim also has an extensive military background. Pretty cool guy. What we wanted to talk about today is the Tactical Games. So Brownells has gotten involved with Tim at the Tactical Games. We were down at one of your events in North Carolina here just a few months ago. We were really impressed by what was going on. Guys, think CrossFit meets three-gun is what it is. Really, really challenging people. We took Tig down there. We want to talk to Tig about some of his experiences. But Tim, set us up. Tell us a little bit about the Tactical Games, how you got started in it.
Yeah, so in my military experience, I had the unique pleasure of being in a couple of units that really did outside the box training. And I was seeing a video of another shooting sport, and I thought, man, there's got to be more to it than that. And so we created the Tactical Games to train, test, and highlight the amazing skill sets of our tactical athletes. We wrap that in a package of functional fitness. So we're doing rope climbs, sled drags, water can carries, things that you're going to be doing every day, not necessarily bar cycling like Olympic lifts, but things that you might end up doing in combat. And then we wrap that with shooting. So a rope climb, then shoot, sled drag, then shoot. And the reason we do it like that is because it's exponentially harder to shoot a shot with a pulse rate of 160 beats a minute, right, and your respiration's going off the chart. John,
awesome.
Tig might know a little bit about that.
Tig, you're a three-gun guy, all that stuff. We talked to you about the Tactical Games idea. Talk about your experience, man. Maybe we compare it with three-gun and just your general thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing three-gun for a little bit now. And you hit me up about 3 weeks, I think, before the Tactical Games.
Right.
And so I had no idea what I was getting into, and I enjoyed it. Went down, like you said, it's CrossFit meets a two-gun, not really three-gun, but meets a two-gun, and it's a lot more physical, a lot more endurance going on, a lot more thinking, actually, in my opinion, because they set up a couple of things where I can't give it out because you might do it again, but you got to memorize something kind of almost the day before as well, and then you got to do a nice little long run and remember exactly what you're doing. And so it's a lot of mental, a lot of physical, and it's functional. It's actual real life stuff that you could actually kind of see in combat, or if you're a SWAT or a cop, you could really do in real life. So the functionality of it, it's just it's awesome, and it really levels the playing field. Doing a lot of three-gun, you got to really, really good shooters, but they're not moving very, very long distance, and you put the stuff into this that's going to knock them down back to, I would say, like a SWAT. I'm not saying SWAT guys ain't better shooters, but
sure.
They just I don't really know how to say it, but it just levels the playing field because it brings that guy down to our level, and it just levels it. I mean, it levels the playing field. Is what it does. Yeah. And it's just a lot. I enjoy it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so one of the things that we've strived to do, or striven to do, is to level that playing field. You got me tongue-tied now. And the way we do that is we're limiting what guys can use on their guns. Yep. As you know, we allow iron sights and a red dot optic on the rifles, but no magnification. And then on the pistols, we want what they call a combat-ready gun, right? Not raised up. We're not having RMRs and things like that on there. It's just pretty much a stock gun. Maybe a cool trigger on it, we'll let that go, and then the fiber optic type sights. And if everybody's using the same gear, or pretty much the same gear, it levels everything, right? Now it's not who has the best technology or who can pay for the best technology. Right. It's who's put the time in and who has the skill sets.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk about the classes that you offer. Obviously, not everybody's in the same class, so talk about classes there are.
Sure. Well. Everybody comes to the shooting range at a different level. You have the benefit in a unit of some sort, whether it be LE or military, of knowing exactly what that guy went through to get to that level. So it's a known entity. In a commercial competition environment, we have no idea really. Right. When they sign up, they fill out, hey, this is my background. but we don't really have any way to vet that until we're actually in it. So we created a couple different categories or divisions for guys and gals to shoot in. We've got the elite category and the intermediate category. And people often ask me, what do you have to be elite? Well, elite, you better be
it's kind of
the
you,
top
right?
of your game
Yeah.
physically, and you better be at the top of your game shooting, right?
Right.
Intermediate is for those guys that are really, really good, but just maybe not the best at one or the other, those middle of the road kind of guys, and that's fine. That's probably where I would be, right? And then we've got a Masters division, which has really blown up to be our biggest division at this point for our next event, and that's 45 years and older.
Okay.
We found we had dentists, we had professional finance guys, we had an attorney, and these guys are coming out and they don't have a mill or LE background.
Right.
But they're kind of beyond the flower of their age, and they want to go back and relive the things that they feel they've missed.
Yeah.
And we give them that opportunity. And some of them are guys like me that are retired military.
Sure.
And then the last category is probably the favorite of everybody, and that's the women's category. So
Yeah.
Not sure why they like to watch that category more
Right.
than the others.
Well, no, like I said, I enjoyed watching them. And watching the women last time was really freaking cool, and they beat a lot of the guys.
Yeah.
I think they did a little bit under the weight of the intermediate guys, but the biggest difference I noticed between the intermediate and the elites is the amount of weight that we were carrying.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty close. But those elite guys were freaking fast.
Yeah.
Really. They were, like I said, probably the top-notch guys that were going out there. They're the guys that do it every day. I definitely wouldn't say it's not for an amateur. If you haven't really done anything, don't sign up for this. I would say start off with like a 3-gun or something like that. You start doing still matches, because it's not like 3-gun where one guy goes at a time. It's 5 guys did it at a time. So you're fighting for a wall. You're fighting for that position, and it's what happens. You're fighting for that doorway. So if you can't. If you don't have that weapon safety where it's off, you know exactly what you're doing, because it's more, again, live combat related kind of course, kind of how I felt like it was.
Right.
Yeah, we play big boy rules. We're not all over the athletes, but we do have a 1-to-1 ratio, 1 judge per 1 athlete. So there's somebody there, and they're there to score, but they're also there to go, whoa, make sure you holster before you turn around, just to keep the event safe. And so far, we haven't had any big issues.
Right,
so
right.
It's worked well.
Well, Tig, you make the point, and then you touched on it, Tim, too. You make the point where if you've never been out shooting, or if you've been on the couch for the last 5 years, it's probably not the event for you. But it's not like you have to be a Navy SEAL either, Tim. Take people through.
I don't think a Navy SEAL can do this.
Right. Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah,
Army and Marines are making a great showing. We're just saying.
That's right. Yeah. Well, you don't have, they're popularized, right? So you don't have to be that elite operator to do it.
No.
But you will have to have some familiarity with firearms. You want to have some sort of workout regimen. Tim, I know that a lot of the stages are secretive, but run folks through what an average stage might look like.
Okay, so let me address your first question. I get a lot of on social media or emails or text even, how good a shape do I have to be to compete?
Right.
And I say, well, that depends on what you want to do. If you want to come and you want to win, you better bring your A game, and you better have it, right? You need the background, you need the training if you want to win. If you're not that guy that spent time in the SEALs or in the Green Berets or in MARSOC or something like that, I say still come out and compete.
Yeah.
If you want a great experience, you want to learn some stuff, you want to meet some great people, it's a great venue to come out and experience.
Yeah.
And it is add that to your training repertoire, and you'll know what
The
to train for
camaraderie.
better.
One thing I noticed about that, the camaraderie amongst the competitors was really, really interesting. Everybody was there to support each other. Everybody's there hollering, making sure that everybody tries to finish and all that stuff. It was really, really cool. And to your point, I remember there being, Ellie Mill, and I remember that there was an auto mechanic who was there, just out hanging around, and he was absolutely on the same playing field as everybody else. How about that stage? What does an average stage look like?
Yeah, so one of my favorite stages I named after a cohort of mine named Bob Horrigan. I thought it would be just a quick, easy, simple one, but it ended up being one of the tougher ones at our first event. And that was just a sled drag. And the weights varied between classes. So we had like 55 pounds for the women, 75 pounds for the intermediates and 95 pounds of weight for the elite class. But that's add the sled, and then you add all the kit as well. And so they would go 50 yards and shoot, drag the sled back, then sprint to the line without the sled, shoot, sprint back, grab the sled, take it up. So it was 3 trips with the sled, 2 trips without the sled.
Okay.
And guys came in with their tongues hanging over here. And it was a very, very difficult thing. But again, could I do it at 52 years old? Absolutely. I just can't compete with the 32-year-old.
Sure. Sure.
So.
Just got to pace yourself. That's all
Yeah.
it is. I mean,
Yeah.
everything, you can do everything. You just got to pace yourself.
Yeah, and so the desire that, a little science behind it, we try to make each event such that you push the lactic acid threshold to the point where that guy's skill sets and abilities start to degrade. And it's up to them, the higher your lactic acid threshold, the faster you're going to be, and the better you're going to shoot when you have to take that breath and still your hands, right? So the better shape you're in, the higher that level.
Right.
But everyone has a cliff that they fall off of.
Yeah.
And if you don't recognize that, you're going to push yourself. You might be the first one to the line, but then you're absolutely ineffective with the gun for 30 seconds because you're still trying to catch your breath and get the oxygenation back in your system. So like Ivan Loomis put out a video from Kit Badger. He competed in the North Carolina event, and he said, man, always leave a little in the tank so that when you get there, you can still shoot. And that was pretty wise advice.
And again, that's where I go back to just pacing yourself. Know what your limit is.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So talk about the gear. So for the guy who's watching at home, wants to know, this sounds cool, want to try to test myself, that sort of thing. What kind of gear do I need to show up with?
Okay, so most of the battles, we call them battles in 3-gun or IPSC IDPA, they call them stages or heats. We call ours battles to make our event a little bit different. And because it's more manly, right? I mean, we're battling.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So the normal battle requires what we're calling full kit. So in the military, that included nods and helmet and all that. We don't have nods or helmets, but full kit would be body armor. Men are 15 pounds, women are 8. Rifle with the allowed, furniture on it. Pistol belt, pistol with magazines, and then range appropriate clothing. What I'm finding is a lot of times the guy can climb a rope no problem until he puts the kit and the rifle on, and that's a game changer. So that's what you can expect to have to wear.
So Tim, talk about what's on tap for 2019. Obviously, Brownells has come on to be a partner, a presenting partner, and we're very, very excited about it. Talk about what events you have lined up for 2019.
So last year was our starter year. We did 2 major events. We've upped that quite a bit for the 2019 season. We're going to do 6 events this year.
That's great.
The 2 spring and the 2 fall are already in the bag on the calendar. We're still looking for some appropriate venues for our summer events. But coming up in February 23rd, 24th in Meridian, Mississippi, Meridian Public Safety Training Center. Look, even if you can't compete, make sure you come out as a spectator. We're going to have vendors like Brownells and some others out there to show their stuff and to be at your disposal. So come out and watch. March will be just outside of Austin, Texas, in Burnett, Texas, at Reveille Peak Ranch. And then skip through the summer. We're still working on those. Come September, we'll be back at the Range Complex in North Carolina, just outside of Fayetteville. And then we'll finish up in Florida with the finals for the 2019 year in Central Florida.
Awesome. And people can find the Tactical Games online where?
Yeah, www.thetacticalgames.com.
Okay.
We're also on Facebook and Instagram at that same name, The Tactical Games.
The Tactical Games. All right, to wrap it up, take the pressure's on you. Talk to the guy who's watching at home now and tell him why they should sign up for the Tactical Games.
It's to me, I do it for, to me, it's therapeutic, especially if you're a prior military guy and you got out, you got to figure out what you're doing. I like shooting because for me it's therapeutic and it brings back out that competition in me. But the biggest thing, you are learning something new and it's just a lot of fun, and the camaraderie amongst the shooters, it's awesome, and it's just a lot of fun, and that's the biggest thing.
Can I ask him a question?
Please do.
At the North Carolina event that you competed in, what was the biggest surprise and the most difficult part of it for you personally?
I think the biggest surprise probably for a lot of people was the run.
Yeah.
But the most difficult thing was the jug carry and the farmer's carry.
Okay.
Well, my elbows are pretty messed up.
Sure.
But other than that, is the rope climb. The rope climb really got me.
Yeah.
I got it up twice, couldn't get it up the third time, so
Gotcha.
I had to do the burpees. But I didn't think the shooting was too difficult. I was pretty good shape though too. So, but I think physical-wise, the rope climb was probably got me the most.
Gotcha. And your advice for guys that want to come out and compete, how would you tell them to prepare maybe?
So do a lot of stress shooting is what I mean by that, is do a lot of sprints and start shooting. That'll kind of figure out where you go and how fast you can move yourself. Get body armor and start working with your body armor as much as you possibly can. You don't need to do the sleds and stuff like that. You go to the gym. I mean, that's all I did preparing for it. But it was just at the gym. I didn't really run with body armor and stuff like that. But if you got the body armor, start working with it every time you work out. I got my own home gym, so I work out with my body armor just so I'm used to having it on more.
Sure.
And and I would do it's kind of what I do at home. For my stress, I started at 300 yards. I know I got a big range at my house, so not everybody can do this.
Right.
But I started at 300, I run 100, and I shoot, run 100, and I shoot, run 100. And I do the 50, 25 yards, and just kind of see where I'm at there. And
Sure.
again, I mean, I'm sprinting. I'm not holding back at all. I'm just trying to do as hard as I can. And it's just going to up your playing field if you can do that. But if you only got 50-yard range, I would say do 25-yard sprints and drop a 10-yard, just mix it up. But you got to push yourself hard, and it makes it a lot easier in the games, I would say.
Yeah. And what do you think about unconventional shooting positions?
Yep. Because one, we got to get down and you shoot at kind of like an awkward angle. Make sure you have your angles down. That's what kind of screwed me up the second day on the first stage. That kind of threw me out of the top three. But just know where your angles are when you're not shooting level, because if you don't know it, it's going to throw you off big time.
Yeah, very good.
Got it. Perfect, guys. Check out thetacticalgames.com. You have more to add?
I'm sorry?
You have more to add?
No, that's
Take more
great.
to add?
That's
Okay.
great.
Guys, seriously, Brownells, we're 100% behind it. Tim, great guy, bootstrapping this thing on his own. We're happy to come on board to sponsor it. We know it's a good thing for the community. It's a great way to challenge yourself. So check them out, thetacticalgames.com. Also, thank you so much for tuning in to all the live casts here at SHOT Show 2019.